My philosophy when it comes to the Swingflow concept is to help people get access to this primal move we have, this primal pattern of throwing an item, using a tool, or hitting something. It could be, back in the days, like hundreds and thousands of years ago, throwing an axe, a spear, using any tool. And what we do now in modern days, it can be basketball, it could be baseball, it could be martial arts, tennis, soccer, football, you name it. We're going to move with the same pattern, the same sequence. And we have a specific sequence for power and consistency. And to me, that is what Swingflow in the core is about. It's about moving your body in the right sequence. It's not the way I was taught back in the days, like moving your hips first. That actually, I think, hurt a lot of us. We threw the hips there and we came in positions where we had to use our hands manipulating the club to get the ball to fly decently. And a lot of players, including myself, that tried to be on the tour had big hooking problems. Or it could be for the club golfer, the weekend warrior, so to speak, the other way around, that it's just going to throw the club over the top. So the Swingflow concept is about training yourself to get access again to this primal pattern. You already have it, you do it every day, all the time. It could be like closing the door, it could be like taking a coffee cup, putting it there, anything. So what I mean is the relationship between moving your body, moving the pressure, in contrast to where the club and the arm is. So the biggest problem is the reverse of this is in golf, a lot of players do arms and club first, and then they move the body weight and the pressure. All good players are going to move the pressure first, and then arms and club. And basically, the more time you have in between moving the pressure to your, in this case, to your front foot, and before the club comes down, the more power you create in your body. So it's about putting pressure on your front foot, putting it back on your back foot before the club moves back, and then putting it back on your front foot before the club is on top. So that's going to look like this: pressure, club, instead of club, pressure, which usually leads to a lot of swaying, a lot of body movement on top, and then it's going to be a lot of times from the top, club, and then pressure. So that golf shot will look something like this: club, pressure, and then some people do somewhere in between. It's going to be pressure and club at the same time. It's going to look a little bit like this. Still sort of hard to get a consistent strike, hard to get that power that you actually have within you. And then you have the players that have the ability to put the pressure down first and then get the club up and then switch the pressure, leading the club down. And they're gonna be looking something like this. So it's pressure, club, and it's gonna deliver a completely different pattern and a completely different strike. So you can have the same student in front of you with the wrong sequence, looking something like this, and then you have the same person a little bit later getting the right sequence looking like this, and it's a completely different look. And of course it's going to be a complete different strike once you get used to that sequence. So that's the basics. Of course there are players that are more into the up and down into the ground, turning the feet into the ground, which you call torque. So it's going to be torque, linear, vertical, all these terms we use, but the basics are away from the target towards the target. Some players go straight down and just torque. It's still the same. That's their kind of way of doing it. It's still going to be pressure into the ground before the club. It's not going to be club and then torquing. So it's the same principle. So try it out. In different videos I'm going to give you tools. It might be tipping boards, it might be a different way of stepping. It's pretty trending now, a way of using club and feet and moving around. Step drills, they've been around forever. So what you want here is not to think too much about it, but more practice it in a reactive way.